What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how slower wide receivers can be successful. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and you would like a daily off-season training schedule that you can follow on a day-to-day basis, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate 8-week wide receiver workout plan. You'll get access to 8 weeks of workouts with the exact sets and reps to do for on-field drills and gym exercises that you should be doing to help you out as a wide receiver specifically. They're position-specific drills and exercises. So check out that very first link in the description below if you're interested and if you would like a daily schedule to follow this year. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first, we're going to be talking about 3 to 4 different things, I would say, that wide receivers should do if you're on the slower side. Okay, so now, first thing I want to discuss is that when you're on the slower side of things and you're going up against DBs who are extremely fast, you are going to have to make contested catches. This is something that you have to do. This is something that you have to showcase on film. Because again, if you're a slower guy, it is very, very tough to stand out and get noticed at the wide receiver position. Because I'm hoping that you're slow and you're on the taller side of things. Because if you're short and slow, it is very, very hard to put anything together. Now, we're showing a clip here from Jarvis Landry. And Jarvis Landry, again, maybe not the biggest guy in the NFL. He was one of those guys who ran like a 4.77 40, I believe is what he clocked. So on the NFL side of things, that's slow. Because you're going up against DBs, and you see it at the combine this year, who are running 4.3s, 4.4s consistently, right? Now, again, on game speed, that's maybe not the biggest difference, but when you're running vertical routes downfield, you're running corners, you're running deep posts, you're running streaks, and that ball is thrown up in the air, if you don't have that speed to separate and accelerate like Tyreek Hill type players or whatever type players, Stephon Diggs type speed, those DBs can close in and close space, and they're pretty dang fast. So you're going to have to make a lot of contested catches, and this is what you're going to have to showcase on film. If you're on the slower side of things, I don't want you to be content and just accept the fact that you're slow. If you guys would like, honestly, some exercises that are going to help you get faster, just post a comment in the comment section below, and I'll send you a link to some drills that you guys can do. They're completely free, so just if you want to get faster, feel free, shoot that question below, and just say you want some speed drills. So you can't neglect your speed. But sometimes you're going to have contested catches, like we said. So big thing about contested catches, a high point catch, 50-50 ball, you got to go up strong, number one. And this is a great example here from Jarvis Landry. Double coverage, balls thrown, tight coverage. You got to get used to tight coverage if you're on the slower side. When you go up for a jump ball, 50-50 ball, you got to make sure you're strong with it. And when you're strong with it, you rip that ball away violently to the tuck. That's the number one thing. Ball's thrown over the top on a quick fade. Ball's thrown deep downfield. Go up strong, rip it to the tuck. And you have to get comfortable with that. Now, a lot of people say that that's something you can't teach. And I kind of agree on a certain level that, hey, you just kind of have to have a mindset to go up for the ball, be strong with the ball, and win those catches. But again, there are 2 things that I would like to teach there. Be strong with the catch and rip the ball violently to the tuck. The rest is you got to catch it at the end of the day. And that ties into the same catching mechanics you know and love. But you have to make sure we go up strong and we put the ball away. That's the most important thing. So slower guys, you have to get comfortable with those contested catches because usually those DBs have great recovery speed and we don't have the speed to separate as much. Okay, so now, second thing, we're going to be looking at another example from Jarvis Landry. And this is what comes down to separating all wide receivers, I would say, is having a high football IQ. Being able to understand how to get open and the timing of the different play concepts. Wide receivers are notorious for being those guys that, just know that they have to run, let's say he's running like a 5-yard out here. Not every 5-yard out is the same. It's not the same timing. It's not the same tempo. It's not the same play concept. So a lot of high school wide receivers, youth wide receivers, what they'll do is they don't want to play, on this play I have a 5-yard out. And they run it the same way they would run a quick game catch-throw concept. It's all based on the timing of the play, which you can do with your route to create separation. So let's watch this play here. Baker Mayfield's doing a play-action fake, and Jarvis Landry gives a little tempo skip release, gives a fake, ball's thrown right to him, right at that pylon. Timed up perfectly with Baker Mayfield's feet with his play action drop, and he's able to create a window for Mayfield simply because he sold the route well, but he knew the timing of the play. This is having a high football IQ. Because again, DB's here, manned up, head up coverage, he's got some cushion. So if this was a play where Baker Mayfield was in shotgun and he was taking a one-step drop and just throwing it, what Jarvis Landry would probably do is he would probably attack him, be fast, try to get into his cushion, then break it off, right? But because there's a play action fake, he changes up the tempo of his release. The mistake that, so many wide receivers make because one-on-ones is so popular nowadays, maybe not so much 7-on-7. I think 7-on-7 is a good tool for wide receivers in terms of timing and in terms of understanding plays. But in one-on-ones, you see all these wide receivers doing these fancy skip releases and then running a fade. And the quarterback is just standing there holding the ball, holding the ball, holding the ball. That's not realistic, fellas. Now, yeah, you could say, maybe I'm working a third read concept. But if it's man-to-man coverage, chances are that quarterback probably isn't going to you with that type of long release and that type of long tempo route. So you have to understand these types of things when you're on the slower side. Because when you're on the slower side of things, football IQ, knowing how to get open, knowing your playbook is something that you can do to separate. Because again, if you're slow, like let's say you're a guy who runs like a 4.8 40, there are thousands of receivers across the country that run 4.3s, maybe not 4.3s, but 4.4s, 4.5s that are much, much faster than you on paper. Does that matter? Does that make them a better receiver than you? Probably not. But if they can master having a high football IQ, doing all the details, doing the little things right, that will probably make them a better receiver than you. But usually those guys who have crazy speed, they rely on that speed too much. This is how you can separate yourself, having that high IQ. So just fellas, understand play concepts, understand when to slow down your releases, when to slow down the tempo, and that can get you a lot of separation. Okay, so pivoting off of that, another thing, again, I briefly mentioned this in the last clip, that slower wide receivers need to emphasize, they need to do this, is understand route detail. So details of route running is mainly about three specific things. When you come up to the line, you have to understand the DB's leverage. So is he inside, is he head up, or is he outside? How close or how far he is from you, and then is it man or is it zone coverage where his eyes are to the inside? If you guys can understand those three things and have a plan to attack those three things, you can get a lot of separation. So coming up to the line here, Jarvis Landry has a DB who's inside shade. It's on the goal line. He's maybe about 2 yards off, I'd say, and he has to run this dig route. So because this DB's lined up inside shade, he's trying to take away the inside route. So he's trying to prevent us from running the dig, the slant, maybe a quick post. He's trying to prevent all that, force us to the outside and force us to the sideline, which is his help there. So as a good wide receiver, when I come up to the line, I got to have a plan. That's the details. What a lot of faster guys do, and even sometimes, bigger guys who just rely on their size, they'll just force this inside release because they're faster than the DB, run the quick dig, run the post, and get the ball. Now, I personally don't like that for any wide receiver because you get a DB who's disciplined, who's actually worked his shit. He's just going to keep his leverage, get hands, and force you all the way to the inside. And again, if you get a bad DB, a scrub DB, it'll probably work just great. It'll probably work fine. But we want to prepare for a college-level DB because I'm assuming that's where all of you probably want to play. You probably want to play at the highest level you could possibly take this game. So you're going to get DBs who are disciplined, and they will not give up the inside on that play. So with all that coming into effect, with all that on my mind, I come up, I see that immediately. With the less than a second, you should be able to identify that. This is how you would run the route. You would attack his leverage inside, you take an outside release, give him a move at the top, and again, look at all the separation he's able to create. This separation is usually only from a guy who's insanely fast, who just ran by a dude, not a guy who ran a 4.77 at the combine. So, fellas, route detail, understanding how to run routes, why routes work. That is what gets you separation, and that is what can separate you from competition that's faster than you, because you have to do something. You have to bring something to the table if you don't have speed as a wide receiver. It's not impossible to make it if you don't have speed, but it's very, very tough, and these little details is what they're gonna look for in you, because the film doesn't lie, right? On film, a college coach will be immediately able to tell if you have game speed or if you don't have game speed. Now, again, size is one of those things that you can't control. Speed you can control, but some guys just have better body type, they have better genetics, and they're just naturally a more fast twitch guy than us. But we can still stand out and we can still beat them in terms of competition if I know how to run routes. Okay, so he comes out, attacks his leverage inside. He uses this peek back move at the top to sell like it's a goal line fade, get that DB to commit, get that DB to think goal line fade, and then it's an easy separation over that middle. That's a high football route IQ, and that's what you need. Let's play this again full speed one more time. So slower guys, the three things that you got to emphasize that we've gone over. Making sure that we win those 50-50 tight contested catches. Number two, you have to make sure that you understand football IQ and understand your playbook. Understand the reason why you use certain things, because again, that's how you can get open. And then fellas, you have to understand your opponent. You have to understand the details of route running, because that's how you could set up your routes to where you don't need a ton of speed to create space. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like an 8-week wide receiver on-field and gym workout schedule that you can follow on a day-to-day basis, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you on this. I'll see you guys next time.